Now at 4, 13 mass shootings just this weekend leave more than a dozen people dead, leading to more debate over gun control. Hi, everyone. I'm Susie Sa.
And I'm Amy Johnson. This is KCAL9 News at 4, streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. Today, actor Matthew McConaughey is weighing in on the gun control debate. He wrote an op-ed for an Austin newspaper in the wake of the massacre in his hometown of Uvalde. The actor is calling for immediate action on what he calls gun responsibility. Uvalde native says the decades-long gun control debate has done nothing.
Well, in his op-ed called "It's Time to Act on Gun Responsibility," he wrote in part, "There is a difference between control and responsibility. The first is a mandate that can infringe on our right. The second is a duty that will preserve it. There is no constitutional barrier to gun responsibility. Keeping firearms out of the hands of dangerous people is not only the responsible thing to do, it is the best way to protect the Second Amendment. We can do both."
KCAL9's Jasmine Viel is live in Pasadena with what a local pastor is doing to end gun violence. Jasmine.
So the gun control debate has just intensified across the U.S., right, including right here. This local church, which has taken a stance on many social issues in the past, just put up this banner again that you see behind me saying it supports strong gun laws. Although experts today tell me they are cautioning about which gun laws should actually be passed.
So that's the through line, and then we added prayers for Robb Elementary School in Uvalde.
Pastor Mark Chase with All Saints Church in Pasadena stands in front of prayers his congregation has written on pieces of paper hanging on display outside his church, most recently for the Uvalde school shooting victims.
The primary emotion that comes up is, after just the sadness and the grief and the shock, is really anger, right? Because we are a nation that began in gun violence.
Over the weekend, rallies and marches took place across the nation by gun safety advocates. Pastor Chase was part of a similar march in Pasadena calling for action.
But in so many ways, it's beyond gun control, because if our society is healed and if our communities are flourishing and healthy and people have jobs and people have resources and people have what they need at their disposal, gun violence will go down.
The latest CDC data reveals a nearly 35% increase in firearm deaths nationwide from 2019 to 2020, with guns accounting for 79% of all homicides in the U.S. The country also recorded its most annual gun deaths ever, more than 45,000. Gary Kleck, a retired professor of criminology and criminal justice at Florida State University, says emotions aside, lawmakers need to look at the bigger picture and what will actually work.
And that's the problem we have. People try to, they adopt solutions that are fitted to the latest mass shooting, and they don't necessarily have any relevance to the sort of violence that involves single victims that accounts for 99% of the gun deaths in America.
Gun rights advocates say the way to keep people, including school children, safe is to arm more people.
It only makes sense to harden the schools and provide people within the schools, the good people that work there that are willing to be trained to be armed.
Yeah, so this is our banner.
But Pastor Chase says he will keep fighting to get out his message on gun control.
We're going to make our voices be heard.
Now, there is a bipartisan group of senators who spent the Memorial Day recess actually working together to craft a compromise on some narrow gun control laws. Also, some Democratic lawmakers actually want to vote on gun legislation this week. Live here in Pasadena, Jasmine Viel, KCAL9 News.